This video talks openly about the ending of the amazing digital circus, the last act. If you haven't seen it yet and you're planning to, and let's be honest, most people won't get to watch it until June 19th when it finally drops on YouTube and Netflix, then I genuinely recommend you go watch it first and come back. I'm not going to walk you through the whole movie scene by scene, but I am going to mention enough that it could take the surprise away. So this one is on you. If you keep watching, you're choosing to know. Cool? Cool. Let's go. The final chapter of Digital Circus is finally here, and after watching it in theaters, there's one question I can't stop thinking about. Were the leaks actually real? Days before the release, images and clips started spreading across the internet, and while watching the movie, I couldn't help but compare those leaks to what was actually on screen. So today, let's take a look at what the leaks got right, what they got wrong, and whether they really spoiled the ending at all. So, let me set the scene for a second. A few days before the premiere, some clips started leaking online and they spread fast. Others said the entire movie was leaked, but I didn't investigate that much to avoid spoilers, so I'm not aware, but it is true that a large part of it was leaked. Now, some people went out of their way to avoid every single spoiler, covering their eyes, muting keywords, the whole thing. Others, well, they weren't so lucky, and honestly, I fall somewhere in the middle. I wasn't hunting for spoilers, I promise I wasn't, but they still found me. A clip here, a frame there, popping up where I least expected. By the time I sat down in that theater, I already had pieces of the puzzle floating in my head whether I wanted them or not, which left me with a weird question the entire time I was watching. Were those leaks the real deal, or was I about to find out they were fake all along? As the movie played out, I started recognizing things, and yeah, some of those leaks were absolutely real. The clearest example, and maybe you saw this one too, is that moment where Jax chokes Pomni. That exact scene was floating around online before release, and there it was, right on the big screen, pretty much the way the leak showed it. A few specific shots, certain backgrounds, some of those tense moments, they all lined up with what I'd already glimpsed. So no, I'm not going to sit here and pretend the leaks were made up. They weren't. But here's the part that really stuck with me. Seeing that frame on its own, out of context, days before, it didn't really mean anything. It was just a shocking image with no weight behind it. Watching it inside the actual movie, with everything that builds up to it, that hit completely differently. And that little detail right there is basically the whole point of this video. So hold on to that thought, because I'm coming back to it. A leaked clip can't capture the way the whole theater went silent at certain moments. It can't show you the reactions, the gasps, the people around me genuinely reacting in real time. That energy in the room was something no screenshot could ever spoil. And it's not just the crowd. It's the music, the pacing, the way a single line of dialogue lands after an hour of buildup. The leaks couldn't show you the emotional weight behind any of it. Now, I'm not going to break down episode 9 minute by minute, because that's a whole other video, and you deserve to experience it yourself. But I do want to talk about the kind of answers this finale gives us, because it's a lot. This thing finally pays off questions we've been asking since episode 1. We get the real names of the characters, which, if you followed this show, you know is a massive deal. Kane comes back into the picture. We get answers about what actually went down between Jax and Ribbit, and there's a moment of emotional development for Jax that I genuinely never expected from him, handled in a way I won't spoil. But trust me, it's not what you'd assume. And then there's the big one. The movie basically confirms that the characters inside the circus are mental copies of real people out in the actual world. Let that sink in for a second. None of the leaks explain that. They couldn't. You can leak an image, but you can't leak the meaning behind it. And that's exactly why a screenshot was never going to replace sitting down and watching the whole thing unfold. So let me just be straight with you about how I actually feel. Did the leaks ruin the experience for me? No, they really didn't. Did I enjoy episode 9 any less because I'd seen a few frames ahead of time? Also, no. Leaks and all, it was worth the wait. But, and this is a big but, I walked out with questions, a lot of them. And I have a feeling you might too. Like, how did each character even end up putting on those VR headsets in the first place? We get the reveal, but not really the how. And now that they've taken control, what happens to their copies still stuck inside that same reality? Are those versions just left behind? What about Kane, who was running the whole show and then handed that control away? Where does that leave him now? And honestly, what about everyone else? So, I'm throwing it to you. What do you think happens next? Do you think this is the end, or do you think we could have another season? Drop your theories in the comments because I genuinely want to read them, and some of you noticed stuff I completely miss.